So there's a lyric to a song that's I've been thinking about for a while now, probably the last couple of weeks. And it goes like, I never really saw you coming until you turned me around. And it says something like, and I think I actually like changed the lyrics because I looked it up, but I didn't hear it that way. I used to think I was nothing, but look at this love I found. I never really saw you coming until you turned me around. I used to think I was nothing, but look at this love I've found. And the song is called Tears by Wolf Club, right? And it goes on to saying, no more tears. And I think that if I'm thinking about it, I believe that every single person in their own way, in their own personal way, is the one that he leaves the 99 to go after. That one is lonely in a very specific way. And I think that some of us are lonelier than others, right? Some of us get taken deeper into the forest than others. But it's like, you're that one, and I'm that one. And you don't see that he's coming. I didn't see that he was coming for me because I was taught to be self-sufficient. Even the things I was taught about God, I couldn't have seen the God that was coming for me, because the God that was coming for me was going to reveal himself and proceeded to reveal himself in the way I was created to know him. That was then going to show me that I was the one that he went after. And I believe it will be the same for you. That the God of the universe will unveil himself to you in a very specific way, a very unique way, a personal way, a way that has not been done before. Like the song, what is it? The Voice of God by like Maverick City Music or something. It's like, he's not coming to you like he came to your father. He's not coming to you like he came to your mother. He's coming to you in the way that he created you, and you're not going to see it coming because you've never seen anyone show up like that before. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into and what my life was going to turn into. And I still very much don't. I seem to have more questions than answers, but what I do know, I didn't see him coming. And I think he has this way of catching us off guard because we have our mind, and in our mind are these images of how he has showed up before. We have these images of ourselves and what we have seen before. But what no eye has heard, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no man has conceived of, this is what I have for you. How can it not but single you out? It seems to design everything to single us out, right? And he's like, I'm leaving the 99, but every one in the 99 is the one I'm coming after. But I'm coming after you in a specific way. I'm coming after you in a way that has not been seen before or conceived of by any man, because it's not been done before, so no one has an image of it. You do not have an image of it. I never really saw you coming until you turned me around. And I believe in the turning around, because you're like looking for him, right? You're like, this is who he is because this is what other people have said who he is. He's like, I'm not how other people have viewed me. I am, but I'm not. The part of me that I'm going to show you is the part that's not been seen before. So you're not going to see it coming. You're going to be looking for me or not looking for me. And I'm going to turn you around so that you can see. It seems like with the disciples, he had a specific relationship with all of them. And it was unique to them. Thomas got to feel the holes in his hands. He's like, for you, Thomas, this is for you. This is how I'm turning you around. And I think for a while, you kind of like encounter this God. He brings you to a desperate place, to a place of need, and you surrender your life to him. And it seems like your life is just gonna fall apart. You give your life to him and everything starts falling apart, right? Before, you were just walking, and trying to build your life for yourself. You were taught to be self-sufficient, like I was taught to be self-sufficient. It's been normal to hide. It's been normal to be dishonest with ourselves. I know I was. I was running. And it wasn't my time until he turned me around. And he knew when to turn me around. Because I was like, I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed, God. I'll just try to get into a place where I'm out of the way. But I'm in this desperate, needy place. I need attention. So I'm going to try to get that for myself. Cycles of shame because I'm being dishonest with myself. Craving attention, not knowing that that's actually a good thing yet. But the attention was whenever he turns me around and I see that he's been looking at me this whole time. That in the turning around, I see that he's always had his eyes on me. I didn't know that he had his eyes on me until he turned me around. And when he turned me around, I looked into his eyes and I felt ashamed. Because I've never had that much attention before. And it's not so black and white that you can just like describe this, because it's going to probably look different for everybody. But you're going to know when God has his eyes locked on you. Because he will make it a point for you to know that his eyes are on you. When it is your time to be turned around, you will find his eyes are locked on you. And it seems to be his intention to be that direct, I would say. And here's the part where you meet him and it seems like your life is just falling apart, right? You start to trust him and he's not doing the things that you think he's going to do. He's not doing the things that you think you're supposed to do. He's not doing those things. Instead, you're just brought to a place that is dry, where you are weak and you are suffering alongside of him. And you're like, this can't be it. It seems like I have gone backwards. But the reality seems to be, from the vantage point that I have now, is he doesn't take you backwards. He just tears down what you have built, right? And takes you back to the foundation. He's like, I am all you need. Faith in me is all that you need. You don't need all these things that you were building before, but there's nothing to be ashamed of. You didn't know. You didn't see me coming. But in the saying, yes, I have turned you around and my eyes have locked onto yours. And I say, let everything go now. It's time to let everything go now. I will more than make up for this. So everything gets torn down. You're left with a bunch of ashes. You're suffering alongside of the Lord. You're like, is this really what my life is supposed to be like? Nothing is happening for me. But then you get a window into a reality that you didn't know existed. What it is to suffer alongside of someone. What it is to have a companion in loneliness. What it is to have someone who is strong, who is determined to see you succeed and doesn't need your willpower or discipline to accomplish it. He said, no, my grace is sufficient in your weakness. My grace is sufficient in your weakness. Everything will be accomplished according to the word that I've sent out. And I am faithful to watch that word to ensure that it accomplishes everything I set it out to do. Because we're like, we need this, we need this, we need this, and it tears everything down. You're like, no, I need that, I need that, I need that. He's like, no, that's keeping you down. It's keeping you down. It's going to take time for you to get used to being with a God that you suffer alongside of. It's going to take time for you to get used to feeling comfortable being uncomfortable, weak, just weak. No solutions, no answers, just weak. Weak with the Lord. And my grace is sufficient here. My grace is sufficient here. By my Spirit, I will accomplish it. At the right time, I will do it. What is the it? Well, the it was probably going to be different for you, like it's different for me. But there seems to be a process of waiting on him to then be prepared. I never really saw you coming until you turned me around. I couldn't have seen you until you unveiled yourself to me. Because I could look for you, but I'm only looking from what I could understand before of who you are. But you have a way of hiding in my blind spot. You have a way of making it so personal. You come after me in the most personal ways. And I get angry at you, and I release this to you, and you don't shame me. You don't look away when I look away at you. He doesn't look away when you look away. But you will find that in time, his faithfulness will override everything in you and bring you into a confident rest. You just surrender to the weight of his gaze. The weight, his strength in your weakness. See, I think in the church, the modern day church, or at least there's this way of thinking that we must have our attention and our focus on him, but we try to do it in our own strength. And he's like, surrender over your methods, Martha. You're doing too many things. And I will bring out the Mary that was always in you, the worshiper in spirit and in truth. All I have to do is turn you around and reveal myself to you. I am worth the wait. I, for the most part, in my own personal life, was just trying to run from him, I believe. Because I used to think I was nothing. And what a convincing argument it is to be smashed over and over with the same thing. It becomes convincing after a while when that's all you hear and all you feel. Nothing. I'm nothing. I'm too tired. I'm too weak. And this pressure that is on me that's saying I'm insignificant, this feeling of lack, these cycles of shame, it's too much for me. I give up. Well, it seems to be in that place where you give up. Give up trying. It's like he designed it from the very beginning to turn you around in the way that you were made to see him. And you're like, oh, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. No. You see, I'm not taking my eyes off of you because I am faithful. I'm not taking my eyes off of your life because I am faithful. My faithfulness will become your new foundation. So what looks like going backwards is just me tearing down everything that if I didn't tear it down, you would be responsible for keeping it up. But I want more freedom for you than that. I want you to experience more joy than that. I want you to not be limited. So I will bring you to the foundation where I will show you that I am faithful. And you're like, oh, he's faithful, he's faithful. Let me remember that. Let me remind myself that he's faithful, he's faithful. And he's like, no, no, no. That's an old way of thinking. I'm taking you to a new way of thinking, which is this knowing that permeates your entire being. This deep knowing that causes a deep transformation. You will know of my faithfulness, and it will transform you. It will liberate you. And you'll see this is a solid foundation. I could not have built this foundation. I could not have watched over this. I don't have the attention span or the strength to accomplish what he has accomplished in my weakness. When it is your time, it will just be your time. And then you will be prepared. Because it can be very, very awkward for people to have someone piercing you with their eyes, right? The weight of his gaze. Especially if you've felt like me and you've walked around in these convincing arguments of like, you're ashamed, you're ashamed. I have gotten used to looking down and looking away. Looking down and looking away. And you have this one who's staring at you with so much affection and love, with so much tenderness and gentleness and compassion and understanding. And that's awkward as shit for a while. And you're like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And that's the kicker. I think that's where it's going to bring about a certain death to you, because he doesn't want anything. He just wants you, and you have no idea what to do with that. It's all right. You can put that on the shelf if you want, because he's not stopping this. He's like, I left the 99 to come after you. I came after you. I have turned you around to see me, for you to see that I've always seen you. Now look into my eyes and see what I see in you. Now every version of you that you knew before, looking into my eyes and seeing yourself in me, that has to go. It's too small. Because when you look into my eyes, you're going to think different about yourself. You're going to think differently about you. What goodness is it for God to turn you around? Right? To leave the 99 to come after the one who's lonely in their own right. I don't care how many people are on this earth. I feel like everyone is given a specific measure of loneliness, unique loneliness. Some may be better at hiding it than others. But for the desperate ones, for the needy ones, for those poor in spirit, blessed are you. Because you have no idea what's coming for you. Like I have no idea what's coming for me. Because I didn't see him coming. I can't see anything that's coming after that. I've lived in shadows. I've thought of myself in relation to shadows, what I learned in the shadows. He's like, look into my eyes and you're going to see everything. And you're like, there's so much in there. There's so much I don't know. This faithfulness that becomes a new foundation, that doesn't get you to remind yourself of anything, but takes you out of looking after you completely. As you find that, no, his faithfulness is permeating my being and bringing me into a confident rest. And you're like, whatever, bro. I'm pissed off. I'm suffering. I'm doing all this. I'm like, I get it. I get it so much. I have wanted to quit and die so many times. And it was like that was already part of the plan. So I can come to know of his faithfulness. His faithfulness shows up and says, no, you're tired, you're hungry, you're exhausted. But tomorrow's a new day. And you find grace meets you in that new day, gives you just enough to live for that day. And you're like, all these days I can't do anything with God. After meeting you, after you turning me around, my life has never been worse. But there's something on the inside that's making its way out. It's not going to stay hidden forever. It's this deep knowing of his faithfulness that makes you solid. You're like, he was with me when I was losing. I knew what it was to lose with him. I knew what it was to be disappointed with him. He wasn't trying to correct me. I had a friend in disappointment, a friend in loneliness, a friend in sorrow, a friend who knew my most intimate and delicate parts and honored me so gently. I never saw you coming until you turned me around. Now there's no more tears.